And here she is, Lisa Lampanelli. Good morning, Lisa. How are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. You know what? I knew that you were coming on the show. You were actually scheduled to come on, I think, last week, and you couldn't come on because of a snowstorm or something was going on, they said. And so prior to you coming on, I did a quick Google search of you. And I have to say, Lisa, I was shocked because I guess I just hadn't seen you in quite some time on television or whatever. The amount of weight that you have lost over the past couple of years is, I was dumbfounded. I go, I can't believe that's the same woman.
Well, the thing is, I've been on TV probably every week since probably in the past year because of the weight loss.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen in the last couple of years. It happened so fast because me and my husband, Jimmy Big Balls, decided that instead of getting his nut reduction surgery, we decided to get weight loss surgery. So now we're skinny, but he has huge nuts still.
I mean, I was really struck by how much weight you lost. Yeah, you had the surgery. You lost some of that weight naturally. You went to I think it was like a food rehab place.
Oh, no. That was years ago. I have struggled with this for 32 years, from ages 18 to 50. And then, we didn't lose a damn ounce. Every time you lose weight on a diet, you gain like 100% plus back. So we're like, you know what? Screw it, man. We want to live longer. And we just, I dropped 105 and he lost 88.
Wow. That's extraordinary. There was just some talk about this movie that Melissa McCarthy is in, Identity Thief, and a movie critic came out, I think Rex Reed, and he called her a female hippo and made references in this movie review of how fat and disgusting she was.
Right.
Do you think that that's fair criticism in a movie review like that?
Well, hey, I do the roast, so they've been saying that stuff about me for years. So I know when it's meant as a joke, and that's okay. But that's like saying that, a black person is the N-word or, because let's be honest, no woman wants to be called fat. It's better if you call me the C word right now. Like me and you would make out if you called me the C word, but don't call me fat, okay? So, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't think it was necessarily very nice. It's not part of her performance. But, hey, when you're a big girl, you put it out there and you got to take what comes.
She said, and I read an article, just the reason I bring it up to you is because I was reading an article critical of Rex Reed for bringing up her weight, calling her a hippo and disgusting and that sort of stuff. And,
right.
And this Melissa McCarthy said, you know what? I don't know why I'm overweight. This was a magazine article from last year, an interview that she gave. She goes, I don't know why I'm overweight. We eat healthy at home. I don't eat too much. And I read that, and I said, that cannot possibly be true. She must just be eating massive amounts of food to maintain that weight. But you're telling me that you've tried diets and that kind of stuff, and you didn't lose any weight.
Well, the thing is, you lose weight, and then because you've deprived yourself for a year or more, you rebound and you just say, screw it, I'm going to just eat whatever I want, and you gain it back. Eating's all emotional, okay? It's 100% emotional. Anybody who's fat knows if they really get quiet for a minute that they're not eating out of, I just love food and I'm just going to eat healthy. No. If you go to food for any other reason than hunger, then you're doing something wrong. So I myself have been eating emotionally for many years, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to run this thing. We'll get the surgery, lose the weight, and then work on ourselves from the neck up, because that's what it's all about. It has nothing to do with diet and exercise. That's ill thinking right there. I feel bad for Melissa McCarthy because not only is she geniusly talented, that's all you have to say about her. You know what I mean? It's like, but then again, we criticize everybody else for being too skinny. Like we'll talk about Keira Knightley or this one and that one, call them a skinny whore.
Yeah.
So it's like critics need to, focus on the product rather than the person. And P.S., isn't Rex Reed an AIDS-ridden homosexual?
Yeah. I didn't know that the guy was actually still alive, to be honest with you. I mean, he used to do...
This was his way of probably getting back in the press.
Yeah.
Somebody talks about his stupid ass.
How do you feel now? And then I don't want to spend the whole time talking about your weight, but how do you... you say that you struggled with this since you were 18 years old. However, now that you've lost this 100+ pounds, how has that changed you mentally or your outlook? I mean, have you noticed a big change in the way you feel about yourself or the way you interact with other people?
Well, I'd like to sit here and tell you, oh, I have no problems now that I'm thinner, or oh, my life's changed so much. And it has changed a lot, meaning that you don't look in a mirror and throw up anymore. Like you basically go, okay, I'm okay. Hey, I'm never going to win a beauty contest. I'm never going to be a 10, but I'm like a 10 for me, which is probably like a 3 for everybody else, but I don't even care. Because it's like, at least I can go, oh, okay, I can fit into any clothes I want. I can have fun with life a little more. We can physically do any sport we want. We could pretty much take up, any sport that's, at this age appropriate. So, yeah, no, I feel a lot better. I feel like not gross except when I'm naked, because anybody over 40 naked is freaking disgusting. Oh, my God, dude, honestly, like, I should take a shower with my clothes on just to keep the good feeling going. Because, man, I caught a look at my ass the other day in a mirror naked. I was like, oh, my God, it looks like I sat on a gravel driveway naked. It's horrible. But that just comes with age. That has nothing to do with the weight. But, you still have some problems, but, hey, it feels better to at least not be hating myself.
I find it also interesting that you wait until you get married to do this and make the decision to have this weight loss surgery. Most people, when they're single and they're trying to find a mate, that's when they do that.
I luckily found, I always had no problem with men, probably because I treated men. I dated the junk food of men the way I dated the way I ate. I dated lousy guys. But I finally found a nice guy who's a good, he's a good moral dude. And we're like, you know what? We just went to the doctor. The doctor's like, how many people at 70 years old do you see at your weight? And we're like, none. So let's get this under control. So hopefully, we'll stick around for a while. Who else is going to yell at audiences and call them the C word? I can't die.
Why did you date? Lisa Lampanelli is on with us, and she's going to be at the Lorraine Palace Theater on Saturday the 23rd, 8 p.m. For tickets, call 440-245-2323. Her website, insultcomic.com. Why did you, I'm sure you've gone to therapy and all sorts of stuff. Why did you date such scumbag men? Was that a self-image problem that you had with yourself? You didn't think you were worthy of anyone else? Or what drew you to these losers?
Yeah, I'm still exploring all that. I think a lot of it is low self-esteem. I traced most of my problems with weight and men back to when I left for college. I had a great childhood. I was super lucky. And then at 18, I went to Catholic high school. You go to college. It's not even a question. You just kind of go. And I guess I wasn't ready, whatever happened. The most I could figure out about the men and the food is that it stemmed from being unhappy away from home. And the fact that, and you're going to think this is a joke, but it's not, I had a date rapist who took no for an answer. I mean, how bad do you feel about yourself when the known date rapist asks you out, you're all excited because you're going to get some finally, and the guy goes, never mind. I mean, seriously, that really happened. So it screws with your head in a bunch of ways. So, there was just problem after problem once I left home, and I guess it took doing comedy to kind of make me say, hey, I'm going to kind of try to get it together. You
also started comedy later in life. You didn't start stand-up, if I'm correct, until you were about 30.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I worked for, I was a journalist. I worked for Rolling Stone magazine, Spy magazine. So I was, a writer, researcher, et cetera. And then I snapped one day, and I go, I got to just try it once. Let me try stand-up once. If it's no good, I'll quit. But luckily for the world, I was great at it.
That takes a lot of balls, I think, to be able to do that later in life, to just decide, I'm going to try this and give up a career. You tried it once. I'm sure you didn't just give up your career the next day. But the fact is that you gave up what could have been a promising career, which I assumed that's what you wanted to do or you went to school for. And that takes some balls to walk away from that.
Yeah, it's just in your gut when you know it, you know it. Like when you meet the right guy, or I decided to have the surgery, or I just decided to do comedy. Those things were just so clearly obvious. I was just something in my gut tells me, and I'm not ignoring it. Every time I ignore my gut, I screw up. Let me just do it. And luckily for me, with the comedy, man, that I did my first open mic was so good. It was like a sign that I just got to keep going. And luckily it's made me enough of a living that I could do it and not do anything else.
What did your parents say? Because you said that you had a pretty good upbringing. I know you went to Harvard.
Well, that was a a summer program, so I'm not like an official Harvard grad, but I did get in, so that was good.
Where did you go to college?
Syracuse undergrad, and then I went to Columbia and Harvard for little graduate programs.
Were your parents? What did your parents do, Lisa?
My dad was a white-collar guy, worked for a helicopter company. My mom worked at the police station, which cracked me up because she retired before I started dating black guys, or she could have looked up all their records online. She should have kept that job longer. She's lazy. But what they did was they had given up by the time I was 30. They saw I was never going to be homeless. I'd always pursued crazy careers. Like journalism isn't exactly safe and didn't exactly pay well. So they'd like kind of given up on going, oh, you should do this or do that. And they just were like, whatever. And then they saw me on the roast and the Tonight Show, and they figured, okay, she's going to do something with this and not just screw around.
So they were okay with you leaving this journalism career that you had going in order to pursue comedy?
Yeah, they probably like talked about me behind my back a lot, and worried. But, now I make enough money that I could put them in the private room at the nursing home when it's time, and it's almost time, thank God.
Do you ever, you're known as the Queen of Mean, your website, insultcomic.com. This is what you do. Have you ever felt bad about attacking anyone or being mean?
No, because, they know what's coming. It's in the title. People go, oh, I'm going to go see the show by that girl who's known as the Queen of Mean. So basically, you know what you're getting. And if you don't like that kind of comedy, you should probably go see someone else or sit in the back and laugh at everybody who's getting made fun of. But it's like Rickles, When I went to see Rickles, I wanted him to make fun of me. Like, that was so much fun. But you know what? If people don't get it, that's cool too. But I do feel guilty about attacking people in my regular life, like off stage, like I'm freaking mental, and I yell at a lot of people. But on stage, never guilty.
How are you to work for? Do you have an assistant?
Yeah. I got one full-time and one part-time.
How do you... Wow, she needs two assistants. Yeah. God, I wish I could get that successful that I'd need two assistants.
No, it just takes on a life of its own, honestly, because it's like you run this big corporation by yourself.
It's funny how things... The more successful that you get, it just the more natural everything is. And I remember talking to my agent one time, who was also Adam Carolla's agent and radio agent, and he was telling me about how Adam had all these cars, and he was a single guy. This is a long time ago. And I go, who could possibly need, 4 cars, 5 cars? And my agent's like, well, you know what happens? That's just the more successful you get, you can do it, so you just do it. And I remember like 15 years ago going, I'll never get like that. That's so dumb. Now, I swear to God, just last week I was like, thinking about maybe buying another car.
Yeah, it does kind of escape you. Like, I joke about, like, during the hurricane, the deck on my third home got dented. You just want stuff. And it's not like in a way of, like, replacing the love you never got. It's just like, you know what? I worked, because with radio and TV and everything else, you work on migrant workers' pay for like 15 years.
Right.
And then you're like, you don't snap and go, I want this and that. You just go, oh, my God, I can finally take a week off and relax, so I want a house to do it in. I can finally enjoy life a little bit. But people don't understand. There's years and years where you're basically like living with your parents. I used to live with this old German couple and clean their house just so I had a free place to live. I mean, it's not the easiest career. So then you go, let me treat myself.
How are you to work for these assistants at work? You mentioned that you yell at them. Are you a good boss?
I don't yell at them because I'm afraid they'll quit and then talk about
and then write a tell-all book about you.
Yeah, because even though they sign those confidentiality agreements, they're going to talk.
Yeah, no, they just write a book anonymously about they wouldn't name you Lisa Lampanelli. They would just come up with a fake name, and the whole thing would be your life story.
Well, what the greatest thing is, though, like it would be a shock to anyone if I was a C to work for. Like, what a surprise! You saw me on The Apprentice. I'm freaking mental. I have usually high standards. So, of course, if it came out, I would just laugh about it. But, yeah, I'm good to them, and they get paid a lot of freaking dough. But the people I'm nasty to, I have to admit, are like hair people, makeup people, people who are just like, they get me when I'm tired. You can't do a simple blowout? What are you, freaking retarded? Like, what? So, fair warning to the girl who's giving me a blowout when I come out to Lorain, Ohio. You better have that freaking curly iron heated up, you whore. Like, what are they, stupid? So that's who I'm hard to work for. The people who kind of come in and out of my life. And hotel concierges, I got to admit, I yell at them a lot.
Lisa Lampanelli is on with us. She will be at the Lorraine Palace Theater on Saturday, the 23rd, 8 p.m. I'll give you the number to get tickets here in just a second. Let's talk about this guy in California. When you were scheduled to come on our show, it was, I think, right around the day of or the day after that you were named in this guy's manifesto. This is the guy who is going around shooting police officers and their family. That was the worst. I'll tell you what I find about this and crazy about this is that there are people who now sympathize with him. If you go on the internet, you'll find whatever this guy's name is, it Dorner or something. You'll find people that are, Facebook groups that say what a great guy this guy is and how he's uncovered, corruption. He's standing up for what he believes in. What a creep thing. You may believe that, but someone had their daughter, who had nothing to do with this guy or the police, murdered in cold blood, and her fiance, and it's just people. I don't know if they think before they post stuff on the internet or make ridiculous comments.
People, they're the new form of hecklers. Like they just say whatever they want and think it doesn't have any repercussions. Like like people who would maybe put the Newtown kids shooting in a tweet or whatever. It's just like not funny.
Or the people who believe that was made up. I talked to people on this show after this happened who swear up and down, and they honestly believe that whole thing was a government conspiracy, that the government was behind it, or everyone involved was actors, because they watched a stupid YouTube video on it. They believe it.
Yeah, people are idiots. Stay off that damn internet. Wasn't life so much easier back when it was the 20s and we just had a Victrola? Remember that? Those good old days? I just hate. I stopped. Two really important things happened to me last April 9th. I got my operation and I stopped reading Twitter.
Yeah.
I basically read only people who have over 10,000 followers to see if, I need to tweet anything important out, like a news story or something like that. But all these people who say mean things and you just stress your whole life out. It really will wreck your self-esteem. Because, of course, with me, it's always about 90% of the people oh, you look great, oh, congratulations. Others are I liked you better fat. And, of course, that's from always some fat bitch who has to say that. It's I'll get diabetes for you, you fat whore. You know what I mean?
Have you been able to put that out of your, you say that you stopped reading it. I always thought that when I would read actors and they would say, oh, I got a bad review, I didn't pay attention to it, or people say mean things, I just blow it off. And I thought to myself, that's such crap, you can't do that. And then I started, if I read stuff about, even on our own website, on roverradio.com, people, the people listen to the show every day and they still will criticize you, tell you that you suck or whatever. If it were everyone that were saying it, that may depress me, but I really am able to just tune out the noise of people criticizing. Are you able to do that, or did you just put it out just completely? You go, forget it. I've had enough of it.
It takes a huge effort to not read it. Like, for instance, the other day I was on this program I have that sorts your followers by number of followers. Mm-hmm. So basically you only see the high ones. And I saw someone with about 40,000 followers tweeted out an article she wrote about me, like a blog. And I go, I'm in a really good mood. I'm tempted to read it to see if it's favorable so I can retweet it, but suppose it's nasty, then I'll be in a bad mood because it would really wreck my day, right? So I just left it up to my assistant. I said, read this. If it's good, retweet it. If not, let's just not even, don't
But
even tell
then
me.
don't you then go back to your own Twitter account and go, all right, let me see if my assistant retweeted this, because I know if she retweeted it, it was good.
But then that's fine, because I know people are saying nasty things anyway. Like, if a small percentage of your fans are always going to say some nasty stuff, but at least you didn't read the specifics of it. Because the specific thing is what will really piss you off.
So getting back to this Dorner thing, when you're mentioned in this, Lisa, in this manifesto, and he basically names off like 10 comics. In fact, Kevin Hart, who's going to be on our show later, he was mentioned in there as well. He lists off about 10 comics, and he says how great they are. What does that feel like to be mentioned in something like that, and then this guy is going out killing people?
Well, first of all, the reason I found out was because I do you one better than not reading Twitter. I don't read the newspaper, and I don't watch the news on TV because it just stresses me out too much, and it just ruins my day. So I didn't know any of this was going on. I get a call from Harvey Levin at TMZ saying I'm named in this thing. So that's the first I learned. And all I think to myself is, oh, my God, please don't let me be the only person mentioned.
Yeah.
Like if I'm the only person, then I'm the bad guy and I kill people. I'm also responsible for all the shootings in the world, in Newtown and Albany and every other place, and the one in Columbine. So luckily they named other people, and I was pretty happy to be in the company of good comics because for the most part, other than Jeffrey Ross, he named funny people. I joke, of course. I love Jeffrey, but he is an ugly too. So I'm kind of happy I'm in good company, and then I see he named like 80 actors and stuff, and part of me is like, this guy really, he could have narrowed it down a little just to make us feel a little better. 10 people, fine. He names like 80.
Yeah, he cast a wide net, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like I don't even consider him a true fan now. So I hope he did he surrender finally?
No, they still haven't found this guy. I think that he may be dead. I think maybe he might have killed himself, and they just haven't found his body up there on that mountain yet. Or who knows? I don't know. They haven't found him yet. Did you ever at any point think that I guess at that point he's not coming after you, but
oh no, because honestly, if you're going through that list, I'm the least killable one there, right? I mean, come on, you're gonna first of all, what's funny is Harvey asked us to record like a surrender plea to him.
Yeah, we played it on the air. We played a few of them on the air. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the least you can do, really. But I wrote one up, and my publicist says you can't put that one on there because all I did was because I figured you could have one little joke in it, and she goes, no, it's just too flippant. Because I put, dear so and so, I said, obviously you have a love for life and for making and for laughter. I said, anyone who uses the word Jeff Ross and genius in the same sentence must have a sense of humor. Very nice. And then I said the rest of it, and she goes, that's a little flippant because it is a big tragedy. So what can you do?
Yeah. Lisa Lampanelli going to be at the Lorraine Palace Theater. It's at 617 Broadway in Lorraine. Her website is insultcomic.com. For tickets, call 440-245-2323. That's 440-245-2323. Lisa, sometime eventually we'll get you here in the studio, but I know that now you have all these assistants. Who needs the hassle of waking up and coming in here into the studio and all that nonsense?
It's not about that. If I ever fly in the day before, I always do morning radio. So yes, that will happen. And also, aren't you guys syndicated into like Niagara Falls area?
Yes.
Well, I'll play up there the night before on the 22nd, so people can come out and see that.
All right, Lisa, I appreciate you coming on the show, and have fun in beautiful Lorraine. It's
yes. And guys,
maybe pick up your fourth home there, Lisa.
But thanks for having me, and thanks for like an actually interesting conversation. Seriously, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.